Why the fucking fuck are we still waiting for these goddamn fights? Jon Jones is too busy perfecting his boxing combos on his wife's skull to defend the belt. Islam's dodging Topuria harder than Brendan Schaub dodges funny punchlines. And women's MMA is still so goddamn awful, I'd rather watch Tito Ortiz try to read a children's book. Seriously, Dana, stop booking these boring-ass main events that have about as much excitement as a nursing home orgy and give the fans what they actually fucking want. The UFC seems more interested in booking watered-down garbage like women's MMA co-mains, which, let's be honest, are about as watchable as Brendan Schaub's comedy specials, instead of the super fights the fans actually want. First, let's get into Islam versus Ilya. Makhachev is strategically waiting this shit out, hoping Ilya takes another lightweight fight first, effectively letting Ilya build credibility at 155. If Ilya beats someone legit, Islam gets more legacy points for beating him later. If Ilya loses, then Islam gets to smugly point and say, "See, he never deserved it anyway," without ever taking the risk. It's the same bullshit blueprint we see all the time. Islam wants to XP farm Justin Gaethje again first, choking him unconscious for the 100th time, because apparently Justin's dumbass enjoys being submitted as much as a masochist enjoys a dominatrix stomping his balls. Islam's a genius, but fuck this cowardly bullshit. Charles Oliveira, meanwhile, sees exactly what's happening here. Oliveira knows that Ilya-Topuria matchup is tough as hell and would rather dodge that bullet entirely. Smart move, Charles. He's holding out for another Islam rematch instead, preferring a chance at reclaiming the belt rather than risking getting brutally chinned by Ilya. Dustin Poirier might step up and face Topuria, which would certainly legitimize Ilya at lightweight. But we've all seen Poirier survive early beatdowns to bounce back, so that matchup isn't without risk. Still, Topuria would probably leave Poirier's jaw bouncing off the canvas, making it crystal clear who deserves that shot against Islam. Justin Gaethje? Nah, he's too busy practicing neck exercises for the inevitable rear naked choke Islam will slap on him again. Now on to the heavyweight bullshit. Tom Aspinall holding and defending an interim belt multiple times, while Jon Jones chills at home practicing head movement on his wife, is just embarrassing. The interim champ having more defenses and legit heavyweight wins than the actual champ is fucking retarded. We all see Jones' strategy. Stall the fight to death because he knows facing Aspinall head-on without a perfect game plan is suicide. Jones is a manipulative bastard, plotting every possible scenario so he can pick Tom apart. But casual fans continue giving Jones a pass, either out of sheer stupidity or maybe because they're just sexually attracted to a guy who spends his weekends ducking legit contenders and beating women. Let's be clear. Just because Jones out-wrestled a bunch of bloated middleweights and fat old Daniel Cormier doesn't mean he deserves a free pass to duck the legit #1 contender at heavyweight. John, stop working combos on your wife and get in the cage. Now let's break down exactly how each of these fights would actually go down. Islam Makhachev versus Ilya Topuria. Islam's clear game plan would revolve around smothering Ilya with relentless Dagestani-style wrestling. Islam would use that suffocating top control, grinding Ilya down and draining that knockout power that makes Topuria such a dangerous threat. Topuria's best chance lies in early rounds, catching Islam coming in recklessly with one of those brutal power punches that can detach jaws from skulls. But logically, Ilya hasn't shown enough evidence of handling wrestling at Islam's level, meaning he's likely to spend most of the fight pinned down and frustrated. Topuria's jiu-jitsu is legit enough to avoid submissions, but he's risking getting exhausted and becoming vulnerable to a late-fight KO or TKO if he gasses. Heart says Topuria lands that magic shot, but logic and all existing evidence says Islam controls and dominates him with that boring-ass wrestling. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. This fight is simple. Jones will spam takedowns, clinch against the cage, target Aspinall's historically fragile knees, and look to wrestle-fuck his way to a boring-ass decision. Aspinall's boxing and power are clearly superior, and if he can land clean early, Jones's chin, we've barely seen tested, might crumble like his morality under a DUI charge. The problem is, English wrestling is about as good as women's MMA, meaning it's dog shit. Jones could ragdoll Tom for 25 miserable minutes, ruining our collective day. Tom's only shot here is early aggression, using sharp boxing, explosive knees, or uppercuts timed to Jones' predictable takedown attempts. My official prediction? Aspinall lands an absolutely fucking vicious combo early, sends Jones staggering back into the cage, follows up with a flying knee, and cracks Jones's head open like a fucking watermelon. The crowd goes ballistic, MMA Guru's head literally explodes into a mess of rage-induced gore, and Brendan Schaub chokes to death on his shitty podcast mic. Holy fucking shit, Jones is dead, the era of the wife-beater is over. But logically? The only way John actually wins is if he somehow convinces himself mid-fight that Tom Aspinall is actually his wife. Then maybe John's extensive experience in domestic violence gives him enough confidence to beat Tom down. Sad but true. If Tom can't stop the wrestling, he's fucked. English wrestling is genuinely fucking embarrassing, and we've got no evidence Tom's fixed that flaw. Final predictions. Islam Makhachev defeats Ilia Topuria via wrestling-based control, possibly late KO TKO. Heart wants Tom Aspinall to KO John Jones into oblivion, but the brain says Jones grinds out a dull, miserable decision unless Tom ends it brutally early. Fuck wrestling. Now, subscribe or Dana White makes you watch women's MMA main events forever. Comment or Brendan Schaub becomes your life coach. Share or John Jones parks your car.